Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Bookish Artist Mandy here, and I'm coming at you today with a new pen day. Benu so kindly sent me their Astro Gem, which is one I've been looking at for a while, and I could not say no. Look at this beautiful thing. This is the Astro Gem, which is very geometric and named after some different meteors and meteorites in the sky. This one is the colorway Leto or Leto. I'm not exactly positive, but I did read or reintroduce myself, I should say, into the goddess named Leto, which then, you know, the constellations and all this stuff is named after. But she symbolizes motherhood and strength and perseverance. And, you know, motherhood is also kind of connected with green, which is interesting. All these things kind of work together, but they chose it after the meteor, Leto that surrounds the sun, but it all kind of works together, which is really fun. So let's get started. Today I am going to do a comparison of all of the size 6 Benus I have. This also is a size 6 nib with, I went with broad this time because I really want something that is bold and fun and sparkly. And is that not it? So I want to get this up and close. It's a lot different than some of their other ones, I think, in body style. It's very smooth and geometric, which I think the only other one that's kind of geometric would be the Euphoria, but this one has squared off sections, but then they're squared off in different places, which is really cool. And it tapers down and thins down, and I believe it posts. I haven't tried it because I just pulled it out of the box. Yes, it posts, which is really nice. And actually, it's not, for me, I usually don't post my pens, which isn't a big deal, but for me, this isn't too much. Sometimes posting the pen is too much, but they really have done a good job of making sure that that piece is posted well. So I like that too. That's very, very thoughtful, which is one of the reasons I love Benu so much, is that all their designs are very thought out and very thoughtful and well made in my mind. And so that is the Astro Gem. And I love the sparkle. It has some blue and green and yellow tones. So now I'm going to grab the other Benus that I have and we can look at them. Yay! Okay, so I have the Euphoria, which is one of my favorites, and the Astro Gem capped is quite a bit shorter than the Euphoria. And then the Tribute is a new one. I have been loving this. I know it's not in my currently inked, but I have had it inked with Narwhal's Jade, or Dark Forest, and it's been great. This one is a medium, and I've been using it quite a bit. I love this one. This is the Darwin, and I thought that Darwin and Leto looked really great together, which is one of the reasons I picked them, because I am in my green. I'm really in my green era of pens, and I am here for it because I just don't have a lot of them. So that was one of the reasons I liked this one as well. And then this is the Talisman. So when you have them all together, I'm going to put the Astro Gem next to the Talisman because I'm very curious. The Astro Gem and Talisman are about the same size, and then the Tribute and the Tribute and the Euphoria are about the same size. So now uncapped, I can't remember, does the Euphoria post? I never post my Euphoria. It does post. That is just too long for me, but that's just me. Some people really like their pens posted. I don't like that extra weight, but I also don't like weighty pens. If I remember correctly, these two are the same. No, the Tribute is just like a hair taller, but that wouldn't make a difference. However, the Tribute is completely rounded, which is something that is different from the texture of the Euphoria, because the Euphoria does have the octagon or whatever the polygonal sides around to it, but this one doesn't have any of that. So it's smoother. So it has a different feel. So when you're looking at these are about the same size uncapped, and I have them, they're all inked. Of course, because my Benus are always inked. They're all inked right now. These 4 are. Well, 3, because this one's not inked yet, but it will be. And then the talisman. The talisman also posts. And I have posted my talisman every once in a while. Yeah, I still have this one with Pilar Shizuku Toro. I do need to clean that out because it was just not working. So now when you look at that, the talisman is quite a bit shorter, which depending on what you like, you may like the shorter or you may like the longer. I really like both. I find them both really comfortable because their grip sections are all the same. Now let's see here. Some days I really like the talisman and some days I really like the Euphoria. It just depends on the day. So yeah, it is about the same size as a talisman. And the difference here is depending on where you hold your pen. Because see, I hold my pen where I can have a little bit more control because I am left-handed. Sometimes it's hard. I have a little bit of control. I like to have my hand on the grip section. So then this part of the pen right here, where it's thicker, is where my little groove, I don't know what you call this area, but I call it kind of like the meat, where the meat meets my pen. And I really like when they're a little bit thicker. It's why I love the Pixies so much, the Benu Pixies, because they are, when you post them, they're about a little bit smaller than this. But because they have that thick little section, it's really nice. So this is a thick section. I think, looking at it, it's actually either as thick or a little bit thicker than the Euphoria, where the talisman is thinner. The talisman is thinner, and I can feel that. This has just, and it's very slight. I don't have a scale to measure it, and I that's not something that for me I think is really all that important, because I feel like just those like 2 little like tiny ounces, not even ounces, makes that much of a difference. But it does feel just a little bit more substantial because of the thickness of it. But weight-wise, they're about the same. So there is that comparison. I like to compare when I get a new pen. I do like to compare them to, especially to the other ones in the brand when I have other ones in the brand, because I think it's really important to know, okay, this compared to this compared to this. And I can pull out, because I do have these pens here. I have them here for a reason. I have my TWSBI Diamond. Now, my TWSBI Diamond is one of my favorite pens too. And this is why sometimes I like the Talisman, because the TWSBI Diamond and the Talisman are about the same size. The only difference is that this has a size 6 nib and this one has a size 5. So a lot of the times this one just, the nib is just a little bit different. It's just a different experience completely. They're even different branded nibs. And this one doesn't always handle shimmer as well, but this one, my Benu pens always handle shimmer. But yeah, so this kind of feels like I'm holding a TWSBI. So you can see that they're about the same as well. The Leto, or the Astro Gem, I want to call it Leto, but this is an Astro Gem. The Astro Gem is a little bit taller because of that size 6 nib. Otherwise, their bodies are the same. So that's a good thing to look at. Let me see what other ones I have, just to kind of give you just a little bit more of, just a couple more pen that most people have. A couple more comparisons. Here is a Kakuno. Again, they're about the same, except for the nib. See, when you put it down, that nib is going to be a little bit shorter. But that's because they're a different size nib. Also the smiley face. Yeah. So that is something to think about too. But if you like holding this, again, the talisman is a really good size. So this will still be a really nice size, but if you want, if this is a little too thin for you right here, this would be great. That's the thing I think about too when I think about pens. So I'm only going to compare those two pens. I have a lot more videos on comparison. I think maybe I don't right now. I don't remember. Anyway, that's about that. But if you want me to go into an even more in-depth comparison of like all my pens, we'll save that for another video. But right now, the Leto Astrogem, the Astrogem in Leto, I wanted to compare the sizes. What's really cool, I don't know if the oh yeah, it is. It is picking it up on my camera. So it depends on what, you know, obviously what device you are looking at this video on, because color is not gonna always come out the same, even on TVs, even on phones, you know, all that stuff matters. But I'm gonna pull this up as close as possible so you can see it right in here. I think this is beautiful. This is green, and I just thought it was just green. I just now noticed this. When you tip it, you can see that it has blue undertones to it, almost like a dual shading ink. How absolutely lovely, which makes me excited for one of the inks I chose to swatch and think about. So there's the pen. Now we're gonna look at inks that I'm thinking about potentially filling it up with. I had so many inks that I swatched yesterday, I think over 20. And so I really had a hard time narrowing it down because I don't know if I even have a silver pen. This pen is so broody and silver, and I love all the flakes of different sparkles and glitter in it. And I just think this looks like just like a sexy pen. That's what I think about when I think about this. This is a beautiful pen, just in so many different ways. It's very different from anything I have in my collection, which I really, really like. Okay, here we go. So the majority of these inks are shimmer. Because I got this in a broad nib, I really want to have some shimmer. But I did want to ink or to share this one as well, because this is a newer one I have. This is Lemon Toolbar Chama Cypress. I looked it up at once. Chama Cypress. I can't remember. I looked it up once and I had it down. It's a plant. That's what I remember. It's a plant and it's a hard one. And there's a whole video, I think, on YouTube somewhere where people are trying to pronounce it. And it was very funny because it's very, very difficult. I don't want to put that back in the bottle, especially after seeing Lauren from Jackalope Journals having issues with her pen molding from a Linen Toolbar sesame oil. I guess Linen Toolbar sesame oil can have molding issues. So I don't want to do that. I should probably be just more careful about cross-contamination with all my pens and inks, but I'm not very good at that. However, that is just so much ink. Ugh, that is not what I wanted, but that's okay. We'll just mop some of that up. Now this one is supposed to be like a green, like a muted green. It comes off so often as a muted gray. So this is Linen Toolbars. Cha May. I'm doing some phonics here to spell this. Cy Paris. I love teaching phonics because I think they work so well even as adults. Okay, so this one I thought would be a lovely moody color, and it does turn a little bit more green depending on the paper when it dries down, but I thought that is such a lovely moody color for it. And I did want to include one that I could potentially, I'm not going to, but this is one that I wanted to say, hey, if you really like Leto and you want a standard that really looks great with it, here's one. So I did want to do that, but I want to get into the real star of the show, or maybe, I don't know, I'm experimenting. So I have a whole bottle another bottle because I love, this is my favorite gray ink. Hands down, if you ask me what my favorite gray ink is, it would be Pilot Iro Shizuku Fuyo Shogun. And then right behind it would be Diamine Earl Grey. However, I've loved this one since like the beginning of my fountain pen discoveries. This was the second Pilot ink I tried. I got this one and a small bottle of Kirisama. And I know everybody loves Kirisama. I love this one way more. And I love it and I want to show it. But because I have a whole new full, what's the size? The 50 milliliters. And this has probably roughly 5 milliliters left in it. Not 10, because this is a 15 milliliter bottle. So as you can see, there's just not much left in it, like literally getting to the bottom. So I want to first swatch this. And I'm going to do a smaller swatch of this because here's what we're going to do. I'm very excited. Because I have a full bottle of this and this bottle is almost gone, I want to play today and show you an option that you could do. Now, I have only found one ink that I could find that is gray with green shimmer. And please correct me and share with me if you have found one besides the De Atramentis one. I am very hesitant on getting De Atramentis glitter inks. I've had some problems with them, and so I just kind of shy away. So this is standard. And just put standard Pilot Iro Fuyo Shogun. And I always want to put Shogun like with the H because, but somebody told me that's how you pronounce that, is Shogun. So I could be wrong too. There. All right. There is probably about 5 milliliters because I'm looking at it, or a little less. So I have this lovely, I bought this a while ago and haven't used it. This is some of the glitter potion from Wearingeul, and this is Emerald Castle. So this is green glitter. Please let me know if there is actually a really nice gray with glitter, but I could not find one. And maybe I didn't look that hard because I knew I had this. And I knew that this would be fun. So I thought just doing this would be fine. Now, in the instructions of this Wearingeul glitter potion, it talks about, what does it say? Glitter potion is designed with combinations with various ink brands, blah, blah, blah. Yes, yes, yes. This one is 1 milliliter of glitter potion is sufficient for 10 milliliters of ink. So it is a lot. You don't have to use much. It is very potent. I have used it before. I have put Wearingeul's Frost glitter potion into Diamine's Celadon Cat to kind of try a dupe of Wearingeul's what is it? Wearingeul's, what do you call that? Wuthering Heights? And it worked great. So I want to try this and see what we get. Because I think I can do like even just, so what's nice about this pipette is it has 25, 0.25, 0.5. So I think because there's probably even a little bit less than 5 milliliters, I think I'm just going to go with 0.25 of this. It said softly sway, but how can you get this? This always just sticks to the bottom. So yeah, I'm not gonna softly sway because otherwise you're gonna end up with glitter pigment on the bottom that just never, ever, ever, ever goes away. So give me a minute. You can see how long it takes to shake this. I'm gonna pause and I'll be back. Okay, so hopefully you can see that after I vigorously shaked it for another like 2 minutes off camera, it is gone. However, you don't want to open it right now because that glitter is going to be all over the top and then it chunks there. So I like to shake it a little bit and then pull it out. And look at that. Look at that. Oh yeah, I forgot that it had this little stopper. Oh, glitter everywhere, man. Okay, so now, because I've shaken it so vigorously, this is why I don't add too much. And you can always add more, but you can't take away. So there's about 2.25 milliliters. It's a lot of glitter. So I'm gonna put this stopper back on because I don't think I'm gonna need any more glitter than that. I really don't. Because I don't want to clog my pen. I just want glitter. And I love that companies, I know a couple other companies are doing this now too. I love that. Okay, so now I'm gonna put it in here. So normally I would not put it right into this bottle, but I don't plan on doing anything else with this bottle. I literally have another one of these. I would normally put this in a test tube or the ink vial, the sample vial, but again, like I said, this is on its last leg. So there we go. Now my water's gonna be super glittery, which is fine because I got my standard inks out of the way. So now I'm really excited about this. Oh, you can see the glitter on the bottom. And now it's like, woo, I'm excited because this will change the color of it a little bit, I feel like. Okay, so now that I've mixed it, we're not gonna be able to see it until it dries, but I have a feeling that I'm gonna love this, but I also have a couple other inks here that I am really excited about putting in this pen. So this is a lot of trying to figure out which one I'm putting in this pen, and then we're gonna do a writing test. But I like to show you experiments that I do with my pens because I like to match my pens with my inks anymore. I used to not, but I like to now. So this is Pilot, Eero, Fuyu, Shogun, plus Emerald. I think this one's called Emerald Castle. Emerald Castle glitter. And I can't see it doing anything different yet, but that's that one. Okay, the next one I have here is Diamine's Noble Fur, which was, I believe, from Inkvent. I think this was the last Inkvent. I believe this was just from 2024. I don't know. I loved it because it was green with silver shimmer. Because I think Starbright means silver shimmer, but I'm not positive. I wish they had like a code of what their stuff meant somewhere, maybe on their website or on their social media, because they have, you know, they have different ones. They have Chameleon, they have Super Sheen. I feel like sometimes they make sense, and then sometimes it's like, what? I would say I only went with one, but the other Diamine Inkvent one I would recommend because I thought it looked lovely in my list of like 30 inks was Diamine's Moonbeam. That one was beautiful. Diamine's Wishing Tree. Oh, that one looked great too, but I opted because I didn't have, in the end, I had more silvers and browns and blacks in my final lineup for this pen, and I did want a green. So I think this is the only green that's in this, what I recommend. So that is why I didn't go with those other two. But I tell you what, Wishing Tree is probably my favorite from the Inkvent of 2024. And so it was really hard not to do that. But I have this small sample vial right here of Jewel in the Crown that I've had for a while because it's from a company I don't shop with anymore. And so I want to use it up. So I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to ink it up, but I did want to use it for this. But yeah, because I don't know if I want to ink it up because Robert Oster, on a good day, Robert Oster's shimmer inks have problems, but I think this one has had evaporation because I've never put it in a pen. But this one is Jewel in the Crown, and it's very similar to Wishing Tree, only I think Wishing Tree just has a little bit more saturation. And I like the Wishing Tree's shimmer just a tad bit more, but I also love this one. It's got kind of this, I don't know, it's just this like moody, I don't know what it is, but it's pretty, and I thought it looked great once it dries with this pen. So I also considered River of Fire by Robert Oster, and I have a full bottle of that one. And that's a really dark green. But I was trying to go for a couple inks that I love and a couple inks that I've never used before. So that was why I went with Noble Fir. I've only swatched Noble Fir. I've never actually used it in a pen. And I've used this one so many times. I have this in my Tom's Studio pen, but I don't feel like that's one that I would consider. Oh, it's not a fountain pen. It's like a brush tip pen. So it works more like a marker, which this is great as a marker. Okay, the next one is Ferris Wheel Presses Curious Woods, which is a really dark brown, but it has this lovely color shifting shimmer that is very similar to the shimmer in the pen. This is one of my favorite Ferris Wheel Press inks, and I have used it quite a bit, which is funny because my bottle doesn't look like I've used it quite a bit, but I have. I've had it inked in a pen multiple times, so I don't know, maybe I've had it in pens that don't take that much ink. This one is almost black, and so I wanted to have it on here. And this is what I went with instead of Diamine's Moonbeam. But man, now more I'm thinking I should have grabbed Moonbeam. Maybe I will, because I think I want 2 more inks, so I have like 4, or I have 6 on, or 9, so I can kind of compare. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna go grab it. Okay, I forgot that this is one I had in my lineup, and I had left it on my other little desk. It's not wanting to open today. Oh, there we go. This is Color Versus Blue Green Snake. That's glistening purple and blue. And when I swatched it in my trial, I was actually surprised with how great it looked with this pen. It is one I can't remember how many pens I've inked this one up with, but I like to get the Color Versus, I think I've only gotten the last 2, but I like the Color Versus, you know, one-offs of the Zodiac of the year, the Chinese Zodiac, because I think it's so cool. Also, Colorverse does a lot of their naming systems off of astrology and the planets and whatnot. So I thought this one, for multiple reasons, would be a great one. But I've picked only one of each ink each year. I look at them all and then I kind of decide which one. And this purple shimmer with this, because it's blue-green, which actually works really well with the cap, which is why I was excited. I forgot to grab this. So I'm glad that I went and grabbed Moonbeam as well, because this one was in my lineup. I thought I had counted wrong, but yeah, you never know. Okay, so this is Ferris Wheel Press Curious Woods. I really love this one. This one surprised me. It was kind of one of those that I just randomly picked up because I think I got it on a Ferris Wheel Press sale. And so that one really, really surprised me. And so, yeah, I love it. So I'm glad that I got the bottle because I just love it. Because sometimes, you know, Ferris Wheel Press does, you know, discontinue their inks. Now, this one, hang on, I don't think I got all the shimmer. This one I thought would look lovely, and its name is Moonbeam, which is so spacey. I'm not very into space and all that stuff, which is funny, but I do like this ink quite a bit. This one actually, of all my ink vent, is probably the most empty because I've used it that many times. I've filled I have filled multiple pens. This one was probably my favorite from 2023. Now looking at it, it looks really similar to Curious Wood. I didn't have them together on the page, but I know the shimmers are different. So this is Color Versus. Glistening Purple Blue, but I just put purple. Glistening Purple, Green, Blue, Snake. Could they make this name any longer? But they did a whole bunch of different ones. They did like a standard, and then they did a couple different shimmers. And they did that with Dragon as well, and I got the gold glistening. I didn't only get one because I don't need them all. Sometimes I show some self-control. Not very often, but sometimes. Okay, and then the last one is a new one that I got. So Van Ness just recently started carrying Tono and Limbs, and thanks to my Dandelion Diaries and her new silver, I think it was silver, I don't know, but it was one of her new ink exploration videos. I had to get a sample of this, and now I want a bottle of it because I just got this the other day, and I thought, oh, this would be so perfect in this pen. And if I change my mind, I'm going to be shocked because I really want to try this in a pen. But this is Tono and Limbs Nayamashi Twilight Sora. And it is like a dark brownish black, or is it black, silver, but it's got this lovely chunky shimmer, and I don't know, but it's gray. Okay, it's not black, it's gray. But I don't know, I want it in a pen, and I think this one might be it, but I don't know, because Noble Fur is actually getting me. It's actually really getting me right now. That is beautiful. I thought maybe Noble Fur would be one that other people would love, especially around Christmas. Like this could be a really, really pretty Christmas pen with a red pen. I know that Benu has some, but this one is really interesting because it shades green. And I thought this might be the perfect match for this pen. And I considered just inking it up and doing this video with just this, but I wanted to share the inks that I really liked with it, because I think sometimes it's nice to have some options. Like if you really love that ink and you really love that pen, they match and they're great. So I am going to pause my camera or, you know, edit out whatever, and I'll be back when these all dry so we can look at them. And then I want to come up with like a story for the color and the pen so I can kind of draw a little character with the pen and the ink and do some sample writing. Okay, so this is always the hardest part for me, which is why I have so many pens and I always have them in, because I love color. Color is the reason why I also love Benu pens so much. So this one is a standard ink, but it has some really cool shading. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up, but it's got some purple tones in it with that green. This is a lovely, lovely color, like I said. The linen toolbar would be great if you want a standard. Now see, Fuyu Shogun, when it's writing, is a lot more like this, not like the, let me pull it up. It's a lot more like, because this is Fuyu Shogun in that pilot, or the Pilot Kikuno. That is Fuyu Shogun. It's a lot like this, and I think that would be absolutely lovely. And now look at that shimmer in that. That is stunning. Look at, I took a standard ink, a standard gray ink, and made it really, really lovely. And I think that would be absolutely brilliant in that pen. And so I am going to put a star by this because I am thinking about that one. Noble Fur. Look at how star bright that is. That is so bright. And it is a perfect match. I actually asked my husband off camera before I put the camera back on, and this is the one he picked. I almost like, of course you would pick the matchy one. This Robert Oster Jewel in the Crown definitely leans more gold, but it's got this like weird shifting. When you shift it, it shifts silver, and it's got a green base. This is a lovely, lovely color. It's not the one I want to go with for the pen, like I mentioned earlier, but I think it would be a great one if it's something you're considering. But look at the Curious Woods. Yeah, that's also another one. And then this one is the one that I think is different, but if you want some color, and it's got a red sheen, this beautiful green blue, which matches the lid. I love that. Let's pull that lid again. Matches that lid really well. And just, it's a fun one with, I love the purple blue glitter because it shifts from purple to blue. So I love that one. Moonbeam. Look at Moonbeam. How just, I love Moonbeam. And this one is so interesting. I haven't tried it in writing yet. I imagine it writes gray, this light gray right here, which is almost a silver. And it probably halos with this beautiful, beautiful shimmer. And I love, but then you see that shimmer, let's just do this and see which one is speaking to me. They're all speaking to me. That's probably, so see, now I want to take them all. I want to ink one up in this one and then take the rest and ink up in other pens. See, this is my problem. I have problems, but I think for right now, I am leaning towards this one, this one, this one, and this one. And I think, oh man, if I had to pick one, I love the idea, because this, if you look in here, it does have a gray or a black that has silver shimmer too. Just picks up all that. I think Moonbeam is the best match. So if I do this though, how lovely is that? Just, let's zoom in on that. Let's zoom in. I'm zooming in. First time I'm zooming in on this video, besides like lifting it up to the camera. Oop. Shaky cam. Those are all lovely, lovely inks with this. I think you go even any route. I also thought about Ferris Wheel Press's Emerald Gardens because it's green with a green shimmer. There are just so many green options. I wanted to do something besides green because this does have green, but I wanted to focus more on the silverness of it. So there is that. Now I've just got to decide, and I think I am leaning towards this one or this one, but haven't used this one yet. So I don't know how it behaves in a pen. And this would be a very good test because I know that my broad nibs in Benu work fantastic. So let's do that. You know what? Let's do that. And then I can find another pen for those two. I'm probably can find more Benu pens. So this one, this Twilight Sora, is part of Tono and Lim's friendship series, and it is to kind of show the nuances of friendships and connections in the fountain pen community, which hello, that's so sweet. I love that. And so what I also love about it is that I first heard about it from my Dandelion Diaries, which is another person that I've connected with in the fountain pen community. Her videos are some of my absolute favorite that I first started watching when I was really getting into the YouTube network. Just look at that shimmer. It's so pretty. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm excited to try this one and see what it looks like in this pen, especially because we've got ourselves a broad nib. I have not used a Benu broad in a while, so I'm excited to see if it still holds up to being super juicy, because most of my broads are in a drawer, but because I use medium the most. Mediums are wonderful, but I wanted a nice thick line. And you can look at the tines. The tines of this Schmidt nib, they're huge, just huge. It is a giant broad nib. Oh, and it's the feed. The feed's kind of off. I kind of like to correct that if it's off. The feed was off, like this feed wasn't centered with the nib, so I kind of just wiggled it a little bit. But all right, new pen day. Oh, look at that. That does write really, really lovely. New pen day. I'm excited to see when it dries and gets that shimmer. I'm gonna agitate the pen, twirl it while I'm writing with it. This is the Benu. I hope you didn't hear my dog whining. My goodness. That's a Benu Astro Gem in a broad nib. Oh, and it just lays down so much ink. And then this is Tono and Limbs. Oh wait, no, this color is Leto or Leto. You know, I never know exactly how to pronounce these things, but that's okay. It's Tono and Limbs. I'm gonna put the ink bottle. Doodle little ink bottles so we know that it's the ink. And Limbs, Twilight Sora. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Does it? Okay, it is still dry. It's still wet, super wet. See, that's the one thing. Like that's why if you want a really, really juicy, wet, broad nib, go Benu. You cannot go wrong with the big, juicy, broad nibs of Tono or of Benu. So I'm going to show you the comparison because this one has a medium nib. Okay, this one has a medium nib. Now it's a pink. This is a Benu medium, which I think is very, very wet and flowing. And that's another Tono and Limbs color. But the thing about it is when you have a nib, I have learned, when you have a nib that is really, really wet and juicy, it lays down a lot of ink. And so your color is far more saturated in a Benu pen than it would be in another pen. And so that's a Benu fine. Compared to a Pilot fine, I'm just going to compare that so you can see. And that's a Pilot fine. And you see how different they are. So you're really getting a super juicy, juicy broad, which is why I don't always go for broads, but sometimes there is a time and place for them when it comes to these. I'm trying to see if I have any other broads. I know I had a couple inked up. So this would be the Yovo 6 broad. So this is a Yovo. And the ink does make a difference too if it's a really nice wet flowing ink, which usually that's what I like. So okay, and then this I'll just do it one more time. The Benu broad. So the difference here and here, the width is the same, but the amount of ink this one puts down is a lot more, which I love, especially with shimmer inks. So I always recommend if somebody wants a shimmer ink, I go Benu. Other people say other things. I say Benu. I say Benu. And this is, I don't know if the camera is going to pick up the shimmer. Let's try and see. It is in the pen. It is a very, very subtle shimmer. And I don't know if it's going to be picked up, but it is stunning. The stunning subtle shimmer that actually looks perfect with that that color. That is stunning. That is absolutely stunning. I think that's a perfect. I went perfect. That is a perfect match. And interesting enough how different the ink looks in the swatch compared to actual writing. And this is, and see, that's how you can tell. It's very wet. So now I want to go to, this is the final part. I want to go to a different notebook for the doodle drawing. This right here is this paper. This is a Canson pen and ink paper notebook. And so that's what I did my swatches in, because I think it shows color variations so you can really pick the right ink. But for drawing, I think I do want to pull out maybe MD paper. And of course, how fitting is it that my MD blank notebook is currently in something that's very constellation and astronomy. That's the word I was looking for. I was saying astrology, but astronomy based. So, all right, let's get to a new page. Okay. So now I am going to write new pen day, and what I want to do is take you through my thought process when I am creating a character based off of a pen or whatever. So as you all know, I'm all about experimenting. I haven't used my Blackwing Blues with my fountain pens before, or at least not in a long time. So I just don't remember if they go over it. So we're going to experiment. But I want to look at this design, the Astro Gem. This design has a really, really thick top, and it tapers down into this thin bottom. So I kind of want to think about shape design with that. And I think I'm going to give the bear a nice thick head in a square. Now it's not going to be a rectangle, but it's a square because I'm kind of getting this piece. And then I think he wants to be hugging the pen. So I do want to now get the pen. I always love that. I love that look of a character. Actually, no, you know what? I love the character holding the pen or writing with the pen. That's always so much fun. Oh, and it was not dry there. Be very careful. It is a spouter, especially when it's a broad nib. So I want to see. I'm going to just set this here because I want to have the pen, but I love that. And you see that with stamps where the character is writing with the pen and the pen is oversized. I know that, goodness, I've seen it done from Coffee Monster. I've seen it done with Beverly Stamps and Cat Collage Club. And so I feel like because we're a community, that I'm going with that, and, you know, giving my bear just that squarish feel, kind of geometric. And this is very geometric here. You have a lot of really cool, and what I think is really interesting about this is it's not just straight geometric. It kind of tapers in different places, which is really neat. The Astro Gem, this is very, very interesting. I've wanted to try an Astro Gem, and I mentioned that to Benu. I wanted to try an Astro Gem for a while, and I'm actually really, really glad that I get to. So here we go. And so there is that, and I'm just kind of looking at the pen and just trying to get this down pretty fast, you know. So holding their new pen. And since this is a nice big broad, and you can see that round tip on the end, I want to get that in there. And yeah, so there's that. Now, the thing about the Astro Gem that I think is so cool is that you've got the geometric here, and then it gets thin and then thick and then thin again. So I kind of want to have that geometric shape in my bear and have him have like tiny legs. So he's gonna look really funny, but I think it's kind of fun to have them look a specific way. And then he's gonna be smiling as he's looking down on his pen and so happy that he's got his Benu Astro Gem. And I want to make him a little bit shaped so he has that geometric feel, because I think that is one of those special things about this pen that's different from other ones in even Benu's line. So there we go. And so he's kind of not just round, he is kind of got his little edges. So there, now I've got my sketch. With this black wing, it doesn't erase very well, but I do have my rubber eraser that I can go over it with. And as you can see, just like always, I made a mess. And it's fun with this ink, when it goes away, it's kind of got like a dark pink undertone, like the swatch. So it's not gonna fully go away. These black wings, yes, they're erasable, but the black wing colors do not erase very well. And I've always known that. It's one of the reasons I like them. But when you're using this glue, you can do some fun things in like Photoshop to get rid of it. So that's why a lot of digital artists and comic artists use them. Fun fact. There we go. Okay, now I want to see how it goes over it. Oh, it does. It goes over it just fine. Oh, I love this pen. It got a song too. I just love new pens. I'm sure that that is not a secret at this point. Oh, it kind of goes in and then it kind of goes out a little bit more. So it's kind of like a taper and then another taper. Oh, and it's got this. I want to make sure that we're adding a little bit of some lines in here to make it look like a little bit of shading, some hash marks. And remember, our bear has that geometric shape. I just love how much ink the Benu Broad puts down. And there's a time and place for it, because you can see this ink just pools. And so when that dries, it's gonna look so cool. And you're gonna see all those different colors. I have yet to find a juicier broad nib than a Benu Schmidt nib. So just for the record. And sometimes it can be a lot, but that's why I love that I can swap the nibs too when I get sick of the broad. Because sometimes I do. I will say, I do love writing my journals in the broad nib though. I don't know why. I think it's just because I write so big naturally that using an extra fine or a fine, sometimes even a fine nib, can be a little bit too fine for me, which is why I go with mediums and why I've kind of found my sweet spot with mediums lately, because I've been doing 3 pages of journaling every morning. And so I've been using a lot of mediums and broads because it hurts my hand to write so small. But then when I'm drawing, sometimes I like to have that precision of an extra fine or a fine. So it's weird, but right now I'm drawing with this really nice broad and I like that too. So I find that having multiple pens with multiple different versatilities is really important to me. So there's that too. And I really think that for this part, because this is different, and I know looking at it, this is a little bit lighter than this. I do want to color this in with the gray, because I'm only using the one color. Otherwise I'd color it in with green. But color this in, one, so I can see how this colors just like butter. I love that. It's so smooth. I don't think that Benu broads have very much feedback, which sometimes other broads do. It has a little bit, but it is really smooth. And because it's laying down so much ink, it's such a nice experience, like when you're coloring too, because I do a lot of coloring in things, and even my stamps When I'm just using stamps, I do color quite a bit. So I like to have at least 2 broads inked at a time with colors that I know I'm gonna like to color with. But then you can use your light colors, and oh my goodness, I think I'm gonna have to get a full bottle of this ink too. This is lovely. Do you see all the shading that's happening? And it's so perfect for this pen. Ooh, I definitely picked a right one. It's almost the same silver as in the pen, which is a lot of fun. Okay, we're getting close here. Ooh. Gotta be careful. Left-handed problems when you start over here, because now this is, but I can just do this. Color that in, make it look like I meant to have that kind of smudge. Yeah, sometimes I have to think about how I'm working and move my arms so I'm not getting into the ink that I've laid down purposely, because I will lay it down purposely in pools so it pools to look like those colors that you get. Which I know I've talked a little bit on my channel, or a lot of it on my channel, that even the subtlest shift in a color matters to me. And here is it in action, why it matters. Because what is happening with this ink in particular is that you're seeing that shift that, no, when you're writing with it, you're not necessarily going to see. But I'm not just writing, I'm shading and doing lines and then going over it even. Because a lot of the times I will draw my line, and I did that here. So I draw my lines right here and then I colored over it. So then you can see that color is different, and those lines that I first drew, they have, you can see them. Even up here where I colored over those hash lines, they're a different color. And so getting that ink that has the different tonations is really important to me. And so, yeah. And I think if he is kind of gemmy, I think he is also needs a little bit of sparkle. And you know what? He's a rock. He's a rock bear. He's a gem bear. So I'm gonna give him some rock lines and a sparkle here and a sparkle here. Right now he's kind of looking funny, but don't worry. I got to get all the rock lines in. He might look like a Frankenbear, and that's okay. Halloween's coming. Spooky season, 15 days or 16. Either way. Maybe you don't celebrate spooky season, but I do. Let me know. Let me know if you celebrate spooky season. Also, let me know if you have an Astro Gem, because I really like this. I had looked at them for a while and thought, maybe I don't want it because I have so many of the other ones, but this one comes in 7 different colors, I want to say. I just really liked this green because it was one I didn't really have in my collection, and I thought maybe I could convince my husband he'd like it too. So now he kind of looks like he could be sparkly. You know, give him some sparkles. And we want the pen to sparkle too. Yeah. Benu pens sparkle on their own. And then I'm just going to give it a little bit. I'm going to go over some of these lines here. And there you have it. He is so cute. I think the next drawing that I do with one of my Benus needs to not be an animal or a character holding a pen, because I'm pretty sure I did that with my lemon one too, but it's fun. I love the holding of the pen, especially because you're featuring the pen, right? Maybe the next one will be sitting with the pen or sitting on the pen box, and you know, just thinking about other ways I could display the pen. But I want to color in some of this, and yeah, I could sit and doodle and add more to this all day, and I may when I get off camera. I need to stop and leave it alone for now. And there it is. This is the Benu Astro Gem again, to Benu, thank you so much for sending me this to try. I absolutely adore it. I am excited to add it to my collection. I especially love that it's flat in places so it doesn't roll. I've been finding that I have to have cases or stands and things, and so having pens that don't roll is just an extra bonus. A lot of my pens, I really like that they have a clip because then they don't roll as well. But this is just, it lays so I don't have to put it on its clip, so I can see the clip and see the lovely Benu that's just etched in it, which is really cool. So it's almost like it's hidden. But yeah, let me know down in the comments if you've tried an Astro Gem. Also, if you've tried this ink. This ink is really cool. If Danielle, if you watch this from my Dandelion Diaries, thank you for showing me this ink. It's definitely a unique silver for sure. I like it a lot. I'm gonna get out of the shade or the glare. Shadow. Yeah, my brain isn't functioning today very well. Words are not coming well. But yes, link down in the bio to Benu's website. I know that other retailers also have it, so I may find a couple links and get you there. Remember that Benu is out for August, but they will be shipping pens that they sell. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Let me know if you enjoyed this little bear. I don't know. I think he's cute. I think he's very much so the shape of the pen too, which is fun. I love that. Okay. But yeah, that's, you know, that's that. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.